For like 100 years, the auto industry barely changed. You went to a dealership, bought a car, it got older, and that was that. Pretty simple. But then this tech company from Silicon Valley shows up and says, what if a car wasn't really a car? What if it was a computer that you can drive? So let's get into how Tesla completely tore up the old automotive playbook. This Reddit comment just nails it. The real difference, the big idea, it wasn't just about going from gas to electric. It was a completely different way of thinking. Legacy automakers, they saw cars as hardware, and they were trying to figure out how to stuff software into them. Tesla started with the software and then built a car around it. And this really breaks it down perfectly. On one side, you've got the old way. The car is a finished product. The day you drive it off the lot, that's the best it's ever going to be. But on the other side, you've got Tesla's approach. The car is a platform. It's built to get better, to evolve long after you've bought it. To really get why this was so revolutionary, we need to take a step back and look at the world Tesla was walking into. This was an industry that had been playing by the same set of rules for generations. And at the heart of that world was the franchise dealership. For almost a century, this was it. This was the only way you could buy a new car. The car companies didn't actually sell cars to you. They sold them to a middleman, the dealership. And that system was so locked in, it was literally protected by law in a lot of states. And for us, the customers, that model came with a lot of baggage. You had the markups, you had the pushy salespeople trying to sell you whatever they had sitting on the lot, and of course, the part everyone loves, the haggling. It was an experience that a whole lot of people just could not stand. Okay, so into that world walks Tesla, and they decided to change, pretty much everything. They focused on two huge things right out of the gate: how you buy the car and what the car actually is. So instead of that dealership mess, Tesla offered this, a dead simple 4-step experience. You just go online, you build a car you want, you see one price, no haggling, no games, and then they build that car specifically for you. It was totally transparent and cut out the middleman completely. And that direct relationship didn't just stop when you got the keys. Like this user points out, it completely changed the service experience too. Instead of wasting your whole day at a dealership, a technician just comes to your house. It was a massive, massive improvement. But look, as big a deal as changing the buying and service experience was, the real earthquake, the thing that shook the whole industry, was this idea right here, that a car shouldn't be a static thing. It should be more like your phone, a piece of tech that's always getting better. And this screen, this was basically the portal to that whole new reality. It wasn't just for maps and music. This was the command center for over-the-air updates that could change everything, from your car's performance to its safety features, long after it was built. I mean, your car could literally wake up in the morning a better car than when you parked it. And if you need one number to really drive this home, it's this one: an update, on average, every 11.5 days. Now think about that. The traditional auto industry, they work in 5 to 7 year cycles for big changes. Tesla was pushing out improvements every week and a half. So you can't just drop a bomb like this in the middle of an industry and not expect some massive ripple effects. All of a sudden, these legacy companies that moved at the speed of a glacier had to wake up and play catch-up, and they had to do it fast. And you could see the fallout everywhere. The big automakers started dumping money into their own websites to sell cars. Dealerships were suddenly under pressure to, be less awful. And maybe most importantly, our expectations as buyers totally changed. We all knew a better way was possible. Now, this race to catch up wasn't just about the software or how you bought the car. It was also about something incredibly basic, but also incredibly important: the infrastructure. Tesla figured out really early that your awesome electric car is pretty useless if you can't charge it easily. So what did they do? They built their own network. The supercharger network set this incredibly high bar for speed and just ease of use. And yeah, while competitors like Electrify America now have chargers that are technically faster, it was Tesla that created the expectation that, yes, you should be able to take your EV on a long road trip without a massive headache. And that's the thing, right? As this user points out, it wasn't just about speed, it was about reliability. It was about showing up to a charger and knowing it would actually work. For years, the pure convenience and dependability of the supercharger network was one of Tesla's absolute killer advantages. Okay, but here's the thing. When you move this fast and you break this many rules, it's not always a smooth ride. Tesla's whole disruptive approach created a brand new set of problems and some pretty intense conflicts. A huge one was just making the car. For all its genius with software, Tesla still had to do the hard part of manufacturing a physical product at a massive scale. And as this quote says, their supply chain was a serious weak spot. I mean, think about it. Unlike GM or Ford, Tesla was starting from zero. They didn't have these decades-old relationships with suppliers or the endless cash reserves. And that led to all these public struggles with what they called production bottlenecks, which is basically a nice way of saying a massive traffic jam on the factory floor, and a lot of missed deadlines. And that whole Silicon Valley move fast and break things attitude also slammed right into some very old, very established institutions, especially organized labor. Their very American, very anti-union approach, well, it hit a brick wall in Sweden. So it started as a strike with just a few mechanics. It blew up fast. Dock workers started refusing to unload Tesla's cars. Then postal workers refused to deliver their license plates. And pretty soon, unions in Denmark, Norway, and Finland all joined in to support them. It was this huge reminder that the Tesla way wasn't going to work everywhere. So you take a step back and you look at the whole picture, the brilliant ideas, the tough lessons, the big fights, and one thing is just crystal clear. For all the growing pains, the car industry has been changed forever. There's no putting this genie back in the bottle. I mean, the before picture was so clear, right? Finished hardware, dealerships, long waits for new models. The after picture, that's a world of evolving software, buying online, constant improvements, and a realization that a good charging network is absolutely essential. The old way of doing things is officially dead. Look, there's no debating it. Tesla smashed 100 years of doing things the same way and wrote a totally new blueprint. They proved that a car company can and maybe should be a tech company first. So the big question now isn't if other companies will follow that blueprint, it's who's going to take it, make it even better, and build the next chapter for all of us.